So Plato and I have been working on building up with the stirrups on the bareback pad. They made him really nervous the first time, caused him some bolting. So we've gone back and we've just been doing a lot of this. Him getting used to me putting it on him, and then just regular hand leading around, letting him feel the things flop around on him, etc. And you're going to see a lot of repetition here with just those things. And you're going to notice, yes, I am doing big swings. I am kind of flapping it and flopping it on him. That's because I need him to be okay with bigger motions and bigger things happening sometimes. Not everything's going to be small and quiet. So he's got to learn to deal with things even when they're a little on the scary side. Here I'm going to switch over and do his right side some. I go back and forth a lot. I believe they should be good with things on both sides of them. Plus, part of his problem is when he's moving to the left and he sees the stirrup out of his right eye. That's a bit of what concerns him. So just getting him more comfortable with it overall on both sides. Here you see me waiting. I'm waiting for a little bit of a letdown from him, either a yawn, a lick and chew, something that says, okay, he kind of let it go a little bit. And then start over and do it again. All the repetitions really do help make a difference. Now, that being said, this video is in fast forward. However, the total session was 30 minutes of this, and then we spent about 10-15 minutes just grooming afterwards as kind of a reward for being a good boy. So, and the entirety of the time I was handling him would have been less than an hour here. And we have done, a lot of just shorts, but trying to keep quality sessions with the cold weather. It's been hard. He's not getting consistently worked in the way that might do him the best. However, 3 to 4 times a week, I still try to, at the very least, handle him, spend 15-20 minutes just working on something, whether it's desensitizing with a rope, going for a walk, handling his feet, just all those little things to keep him handled and reverting back to being too ferally. And also to keep our progress moving forward, trying to keep from, hitting too much of a wall. Progression can be slow, but I want to try to keep it as uphill as possible. So here I'm going to start adding the girth, and again, I'm just breaking all this down into steps. So I just want him to get used to that girth dangling a little bit. You can see he kind of got a little worried there for a moment. And then I had the FedEx driver come up the driveway, and I had to wrangle the dogs, and Plato was a good man for all this, with the dogs being crazy, and me having to go out to the big truck, and he hung out and stayed very chill for all of it. So that's what this little break is here, where there's nothing going on. I'm outside dealing with my goat food getting delivered. I promise we're coming back shortly here. Again, this was big disruption, kind of right in the middle of our session. But a big deal for Plato that he handled it so well. Remained very chill and calm with the whole thing. And then went right back to work like a champ. Here you're going to see I give him a second rub on him. I'm giving him a lot of praise for being a good boy with all that craziness. And then we're going to go right back to work. And right back to where we had left off. So now we're going to work a little bit with getting that girth under his belly and just letting him feel that. You can see he gets a little uncomfortable at first. So again, just going to repeat it multiple times here and let him kind of relax a little. Realize it's no big deal. And so here we're going to work on starting to tie it. Again, letting him feel it just tighten a little bit, but not incredibly tight. Letting him get used to all of the feelings at one time. The girth hugging him along with those stirrups being there. You can see overall he's a good boy. He wants to stay with me. Some of his expressions are still a little unhappy about things, and that's okay. I'm fine with him expressing himself a bit. And it just lets me know where we need to slow down. However, you can see a lot more of his ears starting to flick forward in our sessions. Overall, his expression's getting much more relaxed, which is what we want. I understand building trust and working through some of his fear issues takes time. And again, just repeating, and then every time I just add a little more to it. Letting him again feel me put that girth under his belly, feel things kind of snug up, get up against his body. A lot of horses can feel overwhelmed or trapped with pressure around them like that. Again, he's worn a bareback pad with just a girth on, and he had absolutely no issues with that. So I believe the problem's a little more in the stirrups bouncing on him. But again, we're just working on keeping things slow, breaking it down into pieces for him, and helping him learn to relax a little bit and not feel a need to have such large reactions. And also kind of teaching him that me and him can work through these things. If he focuses, if he does what I ask of him, then, we're going to end up okay on the other side of it. Here you can see we're walking around a little. I want his feet to unlock. I want him to move some. Just because a horse is okay with things when they're still doesn't mean they're going to be okay with it in motion. Here, I'm going to ask him to move his hind end around some. Again, just checking in with him. If he were to decide to react a bit, or if he got a bit overwhelmed, I want to know that if I ask him to do these things, he can be responsive to them, so that I'm not overstacking on him. And then I also have a way to help communicate to him that he doesn't need to respond in the way he's responding, and we can do these other things instead to help him work through some of that discomfort. And this is the part that's big for him, is getting that forward motion with those stirrups on him and picking up into the trot while being okay. You can see right there, he starts getting a little concerned and he wants to stop and freeze up. But I need him to continue moving and be okay with that motion too. There, I ask him to stop. I'm going to pet him, reward him for, holding it together, even though he got a bit concerned about it. And then we're going to go to the other side. Now, this way, we're going to see he gets a little stickier in his feet overall, because this is the way he has more issues with. Not so much the traveling to the left, but if you notice, he's looking outward to the right. So it's seeing that stirrup kind of suddenly on that right side. And here we got to work through that stickiness and get his feet moving forward. And then we can ask him to whoa. And here we're going to have another bit of a pause, because I'm just going to wait for him to let down, decompress a little bit. Again, looking for like a lick and chew, a yawn, something. You see his eyes blinking an awful lot. So just getting his nervous system to switch over a little bit. He did have a little bit of a tremble. You can't quite see here, but I could see it on his neck standing so close to him. So just waiting for that nervous system to kind of regulate a little bit again and end on a note where he's feeling a bit more relaxed. You'll see me petting on him a lot, and a few times he's, even coming in kind of saying, hey, I want a little bit of encouragement here. And so I'm going to offer that to him. Help him build his confidence up. Let him know he's good. He's doing good. And even though it was scary, we can... he lived through it. And there's that lick and chew. You see his mouth moving a lot. So now I'm going to undo it. And this is actually pretty much where we chose to end here. After the camera goes off, I simply do a little bit of grooming with him just to help him relax a little more, decompress a little more, and on, some positive things. And then also picking his feet out and adding some hoof conditioner and all that stuff.